interdisciplinary class, it's combining cross-curricularly two different subject areas together and finding those connections where they overlap, having students kind of make those connections, applying things from one subject to another. They really get to see that connection.
So one of the really nice things about an interdisciplinary course is that it makes it really easy for students to connect. Either two different subject materials, two different subject matter, take what they're learning in one class or one section and be able to connect it to something that's happening in a totally separate course.
I've never really taken a course like this before that really takes two teachers, two separate classes and combines my learning, and I feel like it has definitely benefited me as far as being able to digest the information as best as possible. And I think it's a really great way to learn. It's definitely not something I thought about before, but I feel like it's really helped me academically.
We're so used to teaching and living our lives, especially in a high school, 50-minute blocks. You go to English, you go to social studies, math, science. This way you get to walk into our course. There's a lot more students. There's 45 to 50 students in the course. To have two teachers, we're able to collaborate in a way that you don't get to do when you're the only teacher in the room. And we are talking about what would seem to be two completely different subjects and merging them together so that the students really do see that all of life utilizes threads from all of these different subjects. And so when they walk out of here, that's not a surprise to them anymore.
It's a class that you choose, and it gives you a break in your schedule to have a class that you enjoy and learn about the things that you want to do in life and maybe move forward onto college and future life.
Because a lot of these classes don't make the connections in between each course. And with American Studies, you're able to blend both the English elements of the U.S. history and U.S. history itself. It ties the courses together. The teachers communicate together to make the best course for the students. The information is presented in a way where I'm able to see and connect the dots between the two different courses.
As an English teacher, you're always teaching the context of a text. So I've always found myself going into sort of like the history of what's going on in America at the time and why this is an important piece of literature for the time period. And now we have that other person, that history expert in the room that does that and makes those connections for students.
So since that's usually two separate class periods, we combine it into one big double session. So the kids don't switch between our two classes each period. They're all 60 of them are in with both teachers for the two periods.
I also think it's really helpful to be able to communicate with a second teacher and have shared students in common and be able to kind of give a consistent message to a group of students over two courses.
So one of the really nice things about fitness and nutrition as a whole is it's something that's going to carry on with students well after they get out of high school, well after they even get out of college, right? Because it's something that's going to really obviously impact their health long term. So you get a better understanding through the course of kind of how exercise and nutrition are going to connect.
And it's really awesome for students right now in high school to be able to do both at the same exact time and possibly be able to see and put into practice these principles so that they can see the improvements in how they feel and how they perform in their sports and in their everyday life.
I play football, and my future is determined by a lot of what I put into my body and what I put onto the field. So the more that I contribute into challenging myself to do the best I possibly can in the class will ultimately help me as an athlete and as a person as well.
So I decided to take Corona Wines because it had an English credit and a social studies credit, and it just what I needed to graduate, so it worked out well. You get both the English and the social studies part of it and like the psychology part of it. For me, it helps a lot to have like both teachers offering both different things, but that go together at the same time.
I think this course and interdisciplinary courses in general support students after high school because life is not made up into a series of separate subjects or topics. They all meld together.
I've learned to hear out like multiple sides of a topic. I feel like in the past it's like I saw one topic, one side, and that's just the way I thought about certain issues, but I feel like this class has enabled me to see that there's actually so many different parts of certain topics and it's not everything's just black and white. There's a lot of like gray in between of it.
I have learned to, I guess, appreciate an environment that allows me to be open in the things that I think. I really have grown, I feel like, being able to connect the things I learned to the outside, to the society I live in. And I feel like it will definitely help me be a better learner and a better participant in society as a whole.
I think what's unique in the first place is the fact that students get the choice to have one. And so many teachers that I talk to in other districts don't have things like that. So I think just being able to do that alone is a unique experience.